Hi Sequels friends, as we know and as I've mentioned numerously over the last couple of months, cross-listing, cross-listing, cross-listing. It is increasingly important to make sure that you are listing across multiple platforms, because if one platform decides to make a grandiose change, I'm talking about you, Poshmark, then it doesn't tank your sales. There are many cross-listing programs that you can use to assist you with this process, and today we are going to talk about List Perfectly. And you may also cross-list on your own by hand, as I do through the copy-paste method. So today we're going to learn about not only List Perfectly and how it can be beneficial to you, what they offer, but also we're going to run a test to see if we can list quicker through List Perfectly or through my tried and true copy and paste method. Hi Sequels friends, thank you so much for tuning in. It is a pleasure to have you here on my channel. If you are new, my name is Heather and I am a part-time reseller. I sell across a bunch of platforms and I like to use this YouTube channel to document my journey. So if you're into reselling, if you like to know about ways, tips and tricks to make your reselling business a little bit smoother, if you like to see unboxings, if you like to see hauls, if you're interested in dabbling in selling vintage, you're in the right place. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and ring my bell so that you're notified typically every Sunday and Friday as I upload new videos. So let's talk today about List Perfectly. I'm going to share with you what List Perfectly is, although I'm sure numerous of you guys already know about it, as there are a gazillion resellers who market for List Perfectly. But you know me, I'm not here with the affiliations. I'm here to tell you what really works for my business. I am not here to sell you something if I do not find it beneficial to me. So if you want the real nuts and bolts nitty gritty of if I value these sorts of things, you are in the right place, because I'm gonna tell you like it is. So let's talk about List Perfectly and what it can do for you in your reselling business. So in researching List Perfectly, some of the things that made me pull the trigger to go ahead and decide that maybe I should test this cross-listing program are the following. One, it cross-lists to a lot of different platforms. Now I am currently selling, and I'm gonna look at my handy dandy spreadsheet here to remind me so I don't leave out any platforms, but I am currently selling on Poshmark, eBay, Etsy, Thrilling, Mercari, dabbling in Depop, though I've had not a sale there, and Facebook Marketplace. So actually every single one of those platforms besides Thrilling, and I'm not sure there's any cross-listing program that will let you cross-list to Thrilling yet, but all of those other platforms are viable for cross-listing on List Perfectly. In addition to that, one of my goals for over a year has been to start working towards cross-listing on my own website, which I'm planning on using Shopify for. List Perfectly is one of the cross-listing programs that will cross-list to Shopify. So all those things are a plus in my book to give it a try. A couple of other things that I was really interested in is the delist feature. You can relist as well as delist using List Perfectly. Now, the caveat to that is in order to do anything through List Perfectly, you have to have all of your listings in List Perfectly. So if you're a newbie reseller just starting out, it is worthwhile to consider this, because you're going to go ahead and build your catalog. Now, if you've been doing this for quite a while and you have 500 plus listings, you don't really have a delist relist feature until everything is in the catalog. And I don't know about you, but I have no desire to input the 500 plus items that I already have into this catalog. So that option is not really viable for me, but something to consider if you are building your catalog. The same with relisting. We know how important it is to relist on platforms. The inventory gets stale. You can relist that and make it look fresh again. The last thing that really got me interested in considering dabbling in List Perfectly is if you have your entire catalog assortment on one single platform, you can then cross-list from that platform, not from your catalog that you have to build, but from that platform, all the way onto another platform. So when all this Poshmark debacle started, I ended up going back to Mercari. Haven't sold on Mercari in over a year, but I was familiar with the platform and I figured, hey, I might as well cross-list my items over there. It can't hurt, and I need to make up money that I'm losing out on Poshmark. Well, one of the easiest ways I've been able to do that is with List Perfectly. Once I have List Perfectly, I can go into my eBay store or my Poshmark store, click on an individual item that I want to then cross-list to Mercari, click on the cross-listing feature. It'll open that up in Mercari. It'll fill in as much information as it's able to fill in, and then I will fill in the rest. If you do not have any means of keeping track of your inventory, if you're not doing any analysis on your inventory right now, if you're not keeping track of your cost of goods, if you're not keeping track of all of that stuff, List Perfectly is great for that. When you're building your catalog, you are building just that, an inventory control sheet, a sheet, a way of keeping track of all of your inventory, all of your listings. Now for me, I don't care at all about that feature either, because you know I already got my sequels Bible of my handy dandy spreadsheet that is all organized the way that I want it organized. I may be a little bit of a control freak when it comes to having control over the analysis of my analyzing my inventory, and so I already have that. So I'm not looking for List Perfectly to do that, but I do want to mention it because if you have not dabbled into the inventory spreadsheet, or you've been one of the people who've been asking me to pass along my inventory spreadsheet that I have no ability of how to do, nor do I want to admit to you guys how many flaws I find in my spreadsheet on a monthly basis that I would never want to share with anybody or have everybody else deal with besides myself. But if you are looking to step into that, then List Perfectly is a great way to do that because you do have that control within it. So think about that as well. So I ended up doing the same strategy that I did with my Vendu video, which was I went ahead and pre-made some listings. I created the description as well as the title. I did that for 4 listings, and 2 of those listings I am going to cross post using the cut and paste method. That's where I take my notes, I cut and paste them on Poshmark, fill in all the blanks. I take my notes, I cut and paste them on eBay, fill in all the blanks, and then that's the cut and paste method. The other 2 I am going to cross list using List Perfectly. In List Perfectly, I have to take the 2 items with that description, put them into the List Perfectly catalog, and then once both of them are in the List Perfectly catalog, I can then cross list them to the different platforms. The aspect about this that I really like is if you are a batch doer as I am, if you've seen any of my photography videos, any of my measurement videos, any of my listing videos, you know I love to batch tasks together. It makes it much quicker to do. At least 90 items a month is my goal, and I tend to skip a few days, list 9 items, skip a couple days, list 6 items. To me, List Perfectly is great for this because I can spend one day after I've photographed everything just to build my catalog. So everything's, you know, the description's already in there, the pricing's already in there, all of that stuff's already in there. And then when I want to come back and list, it's a little bit quicker in the process in that I just have to drop the listings to the platforms. So how did the copy paste versus cross listing using List Perfectly work out? Well, I gotta tell you guys, I'm a little shocked. So cross listing by my copy paste method ended up taking 11 minutes and 24 seconds. That is about 5.5 to 6 minutes per item. List Perfectly workout, building them into that category and then listing them to, or building them into that catalog and then listing them out to a platform. To me, I figured it would take longer. And plus, when I did it with Vendu, it did take longer. But guess what? With List Perfectly, it did not take longer. It actually ended up taking me only 10 minutes and 29 seconds. Not a huge time saving, just a minute less or 30 seconds per item, but it is a time saving. So the big question is, do I recommend List Perfectly? Well, it depends on your needs. To me right now, I am actually surprised. I thought I would end up doing this analysis, it would take longer to list across List Perfectly and I would end up canceling it. But as of right now, I'm going to hold on to it longer and do a bit more research. The main reason is I still haven't cross-listed my entire inventory, all 500 units, over to Mercari, and I am using List Perfectly to do that. And also having the delist ability on the items that are in my catalog. I have been using it, but I haven't been using it thoroughly because it doesn't include everything. I still have to delist by hand anything that's not in my catalog, but if I know it's been recently listed and is likely in my catalog, I'm using that feature as well. So for me, I think I'm going to hold on to List Perfectly for another few months and then come back and retest and see how I'm using it and if it's worth the $50 a month when I'm no longer listing on another platform. When I'm done cross-listing my entire assortment onto Mercari, is it still going to be worth the $50 a month? That's the big question. Now, hopefully we can increase sales a little bit. If we increase sales just 50 bucks, then I'm happy to put the 50 bucks towards that, just because I like to be able to draft everything and then have it ready to list at a later date. But if we don't see any increases in sales, I'm not sure if it's going to be viable for me to continue versus my copy paste method. So if you are a tried and true reseller, you already have a crap ton of inventory out there, you're already using the copy paste method, and you have no interest in cross-listing to an entirely new platform, I'd say continue doing you, save your money, and don't worry about List Perfectly. Now, if you're a newer reseller, you want to have the ability to analyze your inventory, have somewhere to keep track of your inventory. You want to begin cross-listing, you want to build a catalog, I'd say start on List Perfectly. The sooner the better. So that's what I feel about it as of right now. We'll see in 3 months if things change. So I hope you guys found this video useful, helpful, informative. If you have any questions about List Perfectly, I'll be happy to try to assist in the best way that I can. Just go ahead and leave those in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this kind of content, do consider giving me a thumbs up. As your thumbs up let me know I should create some more content for you guys like this in the future. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I do so appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye. Hi, Sickles friends. Hi, Sickles friends. Hi, Sickles friends.